In the quaint town of Willowbrook, life moved at a leisurely pace. The townsfolk knew each other by name, their lives intertwined in a tapestry of shared memories and familiar routines. It was a place where secrets rarely existed, or so it seemed. Amid this idyllic setting, our protagonist, Clara Bennett, a young woman in her early 30s, lived a seemingly ordinary life. Clara worked as a librarian, her days filled with the comforting rustle of turning pages and the faint scent of old books. Her love for literature was apparent in her warm smile and the twinkle in her eyes whenever she spoke about her favorite novels. But beneath her composed exterior, Clara carried the weight of a past heartbreak that had left her cautious and guarded. Clara's cottage, nestled on the edge of Willowbrook, was a reflection of her personality, cozy, inviting, and adorned with trinkets from her travels and gifts from friends. Every morning she would walk through her garden, tending to her beloved roses, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the quiet melancholy that sometimes shadowed her heart. Her garden was her sanctuary, a place where she found solace and a sense of normalcy. As the days turned to weeks, Clara's routine rarely wavered. Her closest confidant was her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Whitaker, a spry 80-year-old with a penchant for baking and storytelling. Their afternoon tea sessions were a cherished ritual, where laughter and anecdotes flowed as freely as the tea. One crisp autumn morning, as Clara prepared for her day, she noticed something unusual on her doorstep, a bouquet of roses more exquisite than any she had ever seen. Nestled among the blooms was a small, cream-colored envelope. Her heart skipped a beat, curiosity mingling with a tinge of apprehension. Who could have left these flowers, and why? Clara gingerly picked up the bouquet and brought it inside, her mind racing with possibilities. As she opened the envelope, her breath caught in her throat. The note inside was simple, yet its words held a weight that unsettled her. For Clara, a reminder that some secrets should stay buried. The handwriting was elegant, almost archaic, and the message sent a shiver down her spine. She reread the note, hoping to find some hidden meaning, but the words remained as chilling as before. Clara's mind flashed back to her past, to a secret she had vowed never to reveal. Could it be that someone knew? But who and how? Determined to uncover the truth, Clara decided not to let fear dictate her actions. She carefully placed the roses in a vase, their beauty a stark contrast to the ominous note. As she prepared for her day at the library, she resolved to investigate the source of the flowers and the note. At the library, Clara's mind was preoccupied with thoughts of the mysterious admirer. Her usual focus on her work wavered, and her colleagues noticed her distraction. Mrs. Whitaker's visit that afternoon provided a welcome respite. Over tea, Clara hesitated before sharing the morning's unsettling discovery with her. Mrs. Whitaker's eyes widened in concern as Clara recounted the events. "My dear, this sounds serious. Have you considered who might be behind this?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. Clara shook her head, frustration evident in her expression. "I've racked my brain, but I can't think of anyone who would send me such a note. It's like a piece of my past has come back to haunt me." Mrs. Whitaker reached across the table, patting Clara's hand reassuringly. "We'll figure this out together, but promise me you'll be cautious." Clara nodded, grateful for her friend's support. As the days passed, the mysterious flowers became a recurring presence in her life. Each bouquet came with a similar note, each message cryptic and unsettling. Clara's determination to uncover the truth grew stronger, and she began to notice subtle changes in her surroundings, shadows that seemed to move, unfamiliar faces in the crowd, and a growing sense of being watched. Her investigations led her to the town's florist, Mr. Thompson, a kind-hearted man who had known Clara since she was a child. When she inquired about the flowers, he confirmed that they had been ordered anonymously, paid for in cash. His description of the person who had placed the order was vague, offering no concrete leads. Undeterred, Clara continued her search, delving into her past to find any clues that might connect her to the mysterious admirer. She revisited old memories, reaching out to distant friends and acquaintances, hoping to uncover a thread that would lead her to the truth. Her nights were filled with restless dreams, the note's words echoing in her mind. As the weeks passed, the tension in Clara's life grew palpable. She confided in a few trusted friends, their concern mirroring her own. The once peaceful town of Willowbrook now felt like a labyrinth of hidden secrets and unanswered questions. Clara's once steady routine was disrupted, her thoughts consumed by the mystery that had taken hold of her life. One evening, as Clara walked home from the library, she sensed a presence behind her. Her heart raced, adrenaline surging through her veins. She quickened her pace, glancing over her shoulder to catch a glimpse of a figure disappearing into the shadows. The encounter left her shaken, but it also steeled her resolve to uncover the truth. Determined to regain control of her life, Clara enlisted the help of a private investigator, Mr. Reynolds, a grizzled but sharp-witted man with a reputation for solving the most perplexing cases. She shared every detail she had gathered, hoping his expertise would provide the breakthrough she desperately needed. Mr. Reynolds took on the case with a sense of duty, his curiosity piqued by the enigmatic notes. Together, he and Clara pored over the evidence, analyzing each clue with meticulous care. Their collaboration forged a bond, built on mutual respect and a shared goal. As the investigation progressed, Clara began to notice patterns in the notes' messages. They seemed to reference events from her past, moments she had long buried in the recesses of her memory. The realization was both unsettling and enlightening. Someone knew her intimately, someone who had been a part of her life. With Mr. Reynolds' guidance, Clara revisited her past with new eyes, seeking out those who had played significant roles in her life. Each conversation, each revelation brought her closer to the truth, and the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. One stormy night, as thunder rumbled in the distance, Clara received a call from Mr. Reynolds. His voice was urgent, a sense of urgency that matched the storm's intensity. "Clara, I think we've found something. Meet me at the old mill by the river. It's important." Clara's heart pounded as she grabbed her coat and rushed out into the storm. The rain lashed against her face, but she pressed on, driven by a mix of fear and determination. The old mill loomed ahead, its dark silhouette a stark contrast to the flashes of lightning that illuminated the night sky. As she approached the mill, Clara saw Mr. Reynolds waiting for her, his expression grave. He held a folder, its contents protected from the rain by a plastic cover. "Clara, you need to see this," he said, handing her the folder. With trembling hands, Clara opened the folder, her eyes scanning the documents inside. Each page revealed a new layer of the mystery, connecting the dots in ways she had never imagined. The truth, once hidden in the shadows, now stood before her in stark clarity. The notes, the flowers, the unsettling messages, all were part of a calculated plan, orchestrated by someone who knew her deepest secrets. As the rain poured down around her, Clara felt a mix of emotions, relief, anger, and a renewed sense of purpose. The truth was within her grasp, and with it, the power to reclaim her life. The storm may have raged on, but within Clara burned a determination that no amount of rain could extinguish. Sure, let's dive into the next section of the documentary. The quiet life that Clara once knew was now overshadowed by a growing sense of unease. The notes, though cryptic, hinted at a connection to a past she had tried to forget. With Mr. Reynolds's help, Clara began to unravel the threads of her past, searching for any clue that might lead her to the mysterious sender. The town of Willowbrook, with its cobblestone streets and picturesque landscapes, had always been a place of comfort for Clara. But now it felt different, as if the very walls held secrets waiting to be uncovered. The townsfolk, who once seemed friendly and familiar, now appeared guarded, their smiles hiding unspoken truths. Clara's growing suspicions were not unfounded. There was an air of deception that lingered around her, a sense that someone was watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. The antagonist, though not yet fully revealed, made their presence known through subtle clues and unsettling encounters. One evening, as Clara sifted through old photographs in her attic, she stumbled upon a faded picture of her childhood friends. Among them was a face she hadn't seen in years. Eleanor, a girl she had once considered her closest friend. The memory of Eleanor brought back a flood of emotions, both sweet and bitter. Flashbacks of their childhood friendship played in Clara's mind. She remembered the summers they spent exploring the woods, sharing secrets and dreaming of the future. But there was also a shadow that hung over those memories, a falling out that had ended their friendship abruptly. Clara's mind raced with possibilities. Could Eleanor be the one behind the notes? The thought seemed implausible, yet the more she pondered, the more it made sense. Eleanor had always been enigmatic, her motives often shrouded in mystery. Their parting had been painful, marked by unresolved tension and unspoken words. Determined to find answers, Clara decided to reach out to Eleanor. She tracked down an old address, hoping to rekindle their connection and uncover the truth. The anticipation of their reunion was both thrilling and nerve-wracking. As she approached Eleanor's home, a sense of déjà vu washed over her. Eleanor greeted Clara with a warm smile, but there was an underlying tension in her eyes. Their conversation started with pleasantries, but soon delved into the past. Clara's heart pounded as she broached the subject of the notes. "Eleanor, do you remember when we were kids and we used to share everything?" Clara asked, her voice tinged with nostalgia. Eleanor's smile faded, replaced by a look of apprehension. "Of course, Clara. Those were some of the best times of my life." Clara took a deep breath, her eyes searching Eleanor's face for any hint of deception. "I've been receiving these notes, and they seem to reference things only someone from our past would know. Do you have any idea who could be sending them?" Eleanor's expression darkened, her gaze shifting away from Clara. I don't know, Clara. It's been so long, but I do know that some secrets have a way of resurfacing." Clara's suspicion grew, but she knew pushing Eleanor further might do more harm than good. She thanked her friend and left, her mind swirling with unanswered questions. The encounter had provided no concrete answers, but it had confirmed one thing. Eleanor knew more than she was letting on. As the days turned into weeks, Clara's struggle to uncover the truth intensified. Her once peaceful life was now a series of restless nights and anxious days. Each note, each bouquet of flowers, felt like a ticking time bomb, its ominous message pushing her closer to the edge. Her interactions with the townsfolk became strained, their curiosity about her predicament mingled with suspicion. Clara couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, her every move scrutinized by unseen eyes. The sense of isolation grew, even among those she had once trusted. One evening, as Clara walked home from the library, she felt a presence behind her. Her heart raced, the familiar sensation of being followed sending shivers down her spine. She quickened her pace, the footsteps behind her mirroring her own. Suddenly, a hand reached out, grabbing her arm. Clara spun around, her breath catching in her throat. It was Mr. Reynolds, his expression serious. "Clara, we need to talk. I've found something." The urgency in his voice left no room for hesitation. They hurried to her cottage, where Mr. Reynolds revealed a piece of information that sent shockwaves through Clara. The notes, he discovered, had been traced back to an old typewriter, a typewriter that once belonged to Eleanor. The revelation hit Clara like a ton of bricks. Eleanor was indeed connected to the notes, but the motive behind them remained unclear. The once fond memories of their friendship now felt tainted, each recollection tinged with doubt and suspicion. Determined to confront Eleanor once and for all, Clara arranged another meeting. This time, the atmosphere was charged with tension, the air thick with unspoken words. As they sat across from each other, the truth hung between them like a fragile thread, ready to unravel at any moment. "Eleanor, I know about the typewriter. I know you're connected to the notes," Clara said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "Why are you doing this?" Eleanor's eyes filled with tears, her facade of calm crumbling. "Clara, I never meant to hurt you. I wanted to protect you. There's something you need to know, something that happened all those years ago." As Eleanor's words tumbled out, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. The notes were not meant to threaten Clara, but to warn her. A dark secret from their past had resurfaced, a secret that threatened not only Clara but those she loved. The antagonist, once hidden in the shadows, now stood revealed. It was not Eleanor, but someone they had both known, someone who had harbored a grudge and sought revenge. The revelation was both shocking and heartbreaking, a betrayal that cut deep. With the truth now out in the open, Clara's journey to uncover the mystery took on a new urgency. The danger was real, and the stakes were higher than ever. The once quaint town of Willowbrook now felt like a battleground, each day a struggle to stay one step ahead of the antagonist. Clara's growing suspicions and struggles became a central part of her life. She took extra precautions. Her sense of vigilance heightened. The support of her friends and Mr. Reynolds became her anchor, their unwavering belief in her a source of strength. Together they devised a plan to confront the antagonist and put an end to the nightmare that had consumed Clara's life. The tension built to a fever pitch, each day bringing them closer to a confrontation that promised to be both dangerous and liberating. As Clara prepared for the final showdown, she couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come. The once timid librarian had transformed into a woman of resolve and courage, her journey a testament to the power of resilience and determination. The conflict that had once been hidden in the shadows was now laid bare, its resolution within reach. Clara knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but with the truth on her side, she felt a renewed sense of hope. The stage was set for the climactic revelation, a moment that would test Clara's strength and courage like never before. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The once close-knit town of Willowbrook now felt like a web of suspicion and unease. Clara's friends and neighbors, who had always been her source of comfort, now looked at her with a mixture of concern and doubt. The mysterious notes and flowers had turned her life upside down, and the strain was beginning to show. Clara's interactions with her colleagues at the library became strained. Sarah, her closest colleague and confidant, tried to be supportive, but even she couldn't hide her skepticism. "Clara, are you sure you're not overthinking this? Maybe it's just a prank," Sarah suggested one afternoon, her tone gentle but doubtful. Clara sighed, frustration evident in her eyes. "I wish it were that simple, Sarah. But these notes, they reference things only someone close to me would know." Sarah nodded, but Clara could see the doubt lingering in her eyes. It was a sentiment echoed by others in the town. Mrs. Whittaker, though supportive, often questioned the gravity of the situation. "My dear, perhaps it's just someone with an odd sense of humor. You know how small towns can be," she said, trying to reassure Clara. Despite their well-meaning words, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that something far more sinister was at play. Each note, each bouquet, carried a weight that pressed down on her soul. The disbelief from those around her only added to her sense of isolation. The suspense in Clara's life grew with each passing day. She often found herself glancing over her shoulder, her heart racing at the slightest sound. One evening, as she walked through the dimly lit streets of Willowbrook, she heard footsteps echoing behind her. Her pulse quickened, her mind racing with fear. Was it all in her head, or was the danger real? She quickened her pace, the footsteps growing louder. As she turned a corner, she felt a hand on her shoulder. She spun around, ready to defend herself, only to find Mr. Reynolds standing there, concern etched on his face. "Clara, are you all right?" he asked, his voice filled with worry. Clara took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. I thought someone was following me," she admitted, her voice shaky. Mr. Reynolds gave her a reassuring nod. "Let's get you home. It's not safe to be out alone at night." As they walked together, Clara couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The suspense was palpable, the tension a constant presence in her life. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of leaves outside her window sent her heart racing. The interpersonal dynamics with her friends and neighbors grew more complicated. Some offered their support, while others distanced themselves, unsure of what to believe. Clara's world had become a labyrinth of doubt and fear, each twist and turn adding to the suspense. One particularly tense afternoon, Clara received a visit from an old friend, Emily, who had moved away years ago. Emily's arrival brought a sense of comfort, but also an undercurrent of tension. As they sat in Clara's living room, sipping tea, the conversation turned to the mysterious notes. "Clara, I've heard about what's been happening. Do you really think someone is out to get you?" Emily asked, her eyes filled with concern. Clara hesitated, her mind racing with thoughts. "I don't know, Emily. But these notes, they feel personal, like someone knows me intimately." Emily reached out, squeezing Clara's hand. "Whatever it is, we'll get through this together. But you have to be careful. Trust your instincts." The support from Emily was a welcome relief, but it also served as a reminder of the fragile trust in Clara's relationships. The disbelief from others, the moments of doubt, all added to the suspense that had become a constant presence in her life. As the days turned into weeks, the suspenseful moments only intensified. One evening, as Clara sat by the fireplace, lost in thought, she noticed a shadow moving outside her window. Her heart raced, fear gripping her. She grabbed a flashlight and cautiously stepped outside, only to find nothing but the rustling leaves and the empty night. Was it all in her head? The question gnawed at her, the line between reality and imagination blurring. The suspense was relentless, each moment a test of her resolve. The climax of this chapter in Clara's life came one stormy night. As thunder rumbled in the distance, she received a call from Mr. Reynolds. His voice was urgent, filled with a sense of urgency. "Clara, I think we found something. Meet me at the old mill by the river. It's important." Clara's heart pounded as she grabbed her coat and rushed out into the storm. The rain lashed against her face, but she pressed on, driven by a mix of fear and determination. The old mill loomed ahead, its dark silhouette a stark contrast to the flashes of lightning that illuminated the night sky. As she approached the mill, Clara saw Mr. Reynolds waiting for her, his expression grave. He held a folder, its contents protected from the rain by a plastic cover. "Clara, you need to see this," he said, handing her the folder. With trembling hands, Clara opened the folder, her eyes scanning the documents inside. Each page revealed a new layer of the mystery, connecting the dots in ways she had never imagined. The truth, once hidden in the shadows, now stood before her in stark clarity. The notes, the flowers, the unsettling messages, all were part of a calculated plan, orchestrated by someone who knew her deepest secrets. As the rain poured down around her, Clara felt a mix of emotions, relief, anger, and a renewed sense of purpose. The tension in Clara's life reached its peak, the suspense that had built up over the weeks now culminating in this moment. She knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but with the truth on her side, she felt a renewed sense of hope. The final confrontation with the antagonist loomed on the horizon, a moment that would test Clara's strength and courage like never before. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The stormy night that had brought Clara to the old mill was only a prelude to what lay ahead. With Mr. Reynolds by her side, she now held the pieces of the puzzle that had eluded her for so long. The truth, once hidden in the shadows, was ready to be unveiled. As Clara pored over the documents, each revelation felt like a blow to her chest. The antagonist, the person behind the cryptic notes and unsettling flowers, was someone she had once trusted, someone who had been a part of her life. The betrayal cut deep, but it also fueled her determination to confront the person responsible. The tension in the air was palpable as Clara and Mr. Reynolds devised a plan. They needed to expose the antagonist publicly, to reveal the truth in a way that left no room for denial. The opportunity presented itself in the form of the town's annual gala, a grand event where the entire community would be present. Clara's heart raced as the day of the gala approached. Each moment felt like an eternity, the anticipation building to a crescendo. She rehearsed her plan over and over in her mind, knowing that this was her chance to finally put an end to the nightmare that had consumed her life. The night of the gala arrived, and Willowbrook's town hall was adorned with lights and decorations, the air filled with the sounds of laughter and music. Clara, dressed in a simple yet elegant gown, moved through the crowd, her eyes scanning for the antagonist. Mr. Reynolds, blending in with the guests, kept a watchful eye on her. As the evening progressed, Clara felt the weight of her mission pressing down on her. The antagonist, unaware of the impending confrontation, mingled with the guests, their demeanor calm and composed. Clara's resolve hardened. She would not let fear dictate her actions. Finally, the moment came. The mayor stepped up to the podium, ready to deliver his speech. Clara took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. She stepped forward, interrupting the mayor with a boldness she hadn't known she possessed. "Excuse me, Mayor, but I have something important to say," Clara announced, her voice steady and unwavering. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to her. The antagonist's expression shifted, a flicker of recognition and fear crossing their face. Clara felt a surge of strength, knowing that the truth was on her side. She held up the documents, her voice ringing out clearly. "For months, I've been receiving notes and flowers, messages that have caused fear and uncertainty in my life. Tonight, I have the evidence that points to the person responsible," Clara declared, her gaze locking onto the antagonist. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd as Clara revealed the details, each word a nail in the coffin of the antagonist's deception. The documents, the typewriter, the connections to her past, all were laid bare for the community to see. The antagonist, now exposed, tried to defend themselves, their voice trembling with desperation. "This is absurd. Clara, you must be mistaken." Clara's resolve did not waver. "You know what you've done. The notes, the flowers, they were all part of your plan to manipulate and control me. But now everyone can see the truth." The tension in the room reached its peak as the crowd turned their attention to the antagonist. The once calm and composed facade crumbled, replaced by a look of guilt and fear. The community, united in their support for Clara, stood as a testament to the power of truth. Mr. Reynolds stepped forward, his voice firm. "The evidence is clear. You have been manipulating Clara, using her past to control her. Your actions have caused harm, and now you must face the consequences. The antagonists' protests were drowned out by the murmurs of the crowd, their guilt evident to all. Clara felt a sense of liberation wash over her, the weight of the past lifting from her shoulders. The truth had prevailed, and with it, a sense of justice. As the antagonist was led away, Clara felt a mix of emotions, relief, anger, and a renewed sense of purpose. The confrontation had been difficult, but it had also been necessary. She had faced her fears and emerged stronger, ready to move forward with her life. The aftermath of the revelation was a whirlwind of emotions and support from the community. Clara's friends and neighbors, who had once been skeptical, now rallied around her, offering their apologies and their solidarity. The disbelief and doubt that had once clouded their interactions were replaced with understanding and empathy. As Clara stood on the steps of the town hall, looking out at the faces of those who had supported her, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but it had also revealed the strength of her character and the resilience of her spirit. Mr. Reynolds approached her, a look of pride in his eyes. "You did it, Clara. You faced your fears and uncovered the truth. I'm proud of you." Clara smiled, her heart filled with a sense of accomplishment. "I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Reynolds. Thank you for believing in me." The climactic revelation had not only exposed the antagonist, but had also brought Clara closer to the people who mattered most in her life. The bonds of friendship and trust had been tested and emerged stronger, a testament to the power of resilience and determination. As the night drew to a close, Clara felt a renewed sense of hope. The road ahead was still uncertain, but she knew that she was not alone. With the support of her friends and the strength she had discovered within herself, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The climactic revelation had been a turning point, a moment of truth that had changed everything. Clara's journey was far from over, but she was now armed with the knowledge and courage to navigate the path ahead. The once hidden secrets had been brought to light, and with them, the promise of a brighter future. Let's heighten the emotional stakes and ensure a shocking revelation that ties together earlier clues. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil within Clara as she clutched the documents that Mr. Reynolds had handed her. Each page brought forth a barrage of emotions, anger, betrayal, and a renewed sense of determination. The antagonist's identity was now clear, and the truth was more shocking than she had imagined. The night of the gala had arrived, and the town hall was a beacon of light amidst the dark, stormy night. The soft glow of chandeliers illuminated the room, casting a warm light on the faces of the townsfolk as they mingled and chatted. Clara, dressed in an elegant gown, moved through the crowd with purpose, her heart pounding with the weight of what was to come. Mr. Reynolds, ever the vigilant guardian, was close by, his eyes scanning the room for any sign of trouble. Clara's mind raced as she replayed her plan, each step a calculated move to expose the antagonist. The anticipation built up within her like a coiled spring, ready to snap at any moment. The mayor's speech droned on in the background, but Clara's focus was on the antagonist, who stood at the edge of the room, mingling with guests. Their composed demeanor only fueled Clara's resolve. She stepped forward, her voice cutting through the mayor's words like a knife. "Excuse me, Mayor. I have something important to say," Clara announced, her voice steady yet charged with emotion. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to her. The antagonist's gaze met hers, a flicker of recognition and fear crossing their face. Clara felt a surge of strength, knowing that she held the truth in her hands. She raised the documents, her voice clear and unwavering. "For months, I have been tormented by notes and flowers, messages that threaten my peace of mind. Tonight, I have the evidence that reveals the person behind these actions, Clara declared, her eyes never leaving the antagonist. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd as Clara laid out the details. She described the typewriter, the connections to her past, and the moments that had led her to this revelation. Each word was a hammer blow, shattering the facade the antagonist had built. The antagonist, now visibly shaken, tried to protest. "This is ridiculous, Clara. You must be mistaken." Clara's voice grew stronger, fueled by the injustice she had endured. "No, I'm not mistaken. You have been manipulating me, using my past to control me, but your deception ends tonight." Mr. Reynolds stepped forward, his presence lending weight to Clara's words. "The evidence is undeniable. Your actions have caused harm, and now you must face the consequences." The crowd turned their gaze to the antagonist, their disbelief turning to outrage. The once composed mask crumbled, replaced by a look of guilt and fear. The community, united in their support for Clara, stood as a testament to the power of truth. With a final desperate attempt, the antagonist's voice cracked. "You don't understand. It wasn't supposed to be like this." Clara's eyes blazed with determination. "Then how was it supposed to be? You caused me pain, fear, and doubt. You made me question everything I knew." The antagonist's silence spoke volumes. The truth was laid bare for all to see, and the weight of their actions settled heavily on their shoulders. The townsfolk, once skeptical, now rallied around Clara, their support a balm to her wounded soul. Mr. Reynolds turned to the mayor. "Mayor, I think it's clear that this individual has abused their position and trust. I recommend immediate action." The mayor, stunned by the revelation, nodded solemnly. "We'll take it from here, Mr. Reynolds. Clara, you have our support." As the antagonist was led away, Clara felt a sense of liberation wash over her. The truth had prevailed, and with it, the power to reclaim her life. The storm outside continued to rage, but within, Clara burned a flame of hope and resilience. The aftermath of the revelation was a whirlwind of emotions and support from the community. Clara's friends and neighbors, who had once doubted her, now offered their apologies and solidarity. The disbelief and doubt that had clouded their interactions were replaced with understanding and empathy. Clara stood on the steps of the town hall, looking out at the faces of those who had supported her. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the unwavering belief and kindness they had shown. The journey had been arduous, but it had also revealed the strength of her character and the resilience of her spirit. Mr. Reynolds approached her, his eyes filled with pride. "You did it, Clara. You faced your fears and uncovered the truth. I'm proud of you." Clara smiled, her heart swelling with a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. I couldn't have done it without you." The revelation had not only exposed the antagonist, but had also brought Clara closer to the people who mattered most in her life. The bonds of friendship and trust had been tested and emerged stronger, a testament to the power of resilience and determination. As the night drew to a close, Clara felt a renewed sense of hope. The road ahead was still uncertain, but she knew she was not alone. With the support of her friends and the strength she had discovered within herself, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The climactic revelation had been a turning point, a moment of truth that had changed everything. Clara's journey was far from over, but she was now armed with the knowledge and courage to navigate the path ahead. The once hidden secrets had been brought to light, and with them the promise of a brighter future. The events of the gala had sent shockwaves through the town of Willowbrook. The revelation of the antagonist's deceit had left the community reeling, and the once tight-knit fabric of the town was now being sewn back together thread by thread. In the days following the climax, the antagonist faced the consequences of their actions. Stripped of their position and reputation, they were a shadow of their former self. The community, once deceived, now stood united in their condemnation. The legal proceedings were swift, ensuring that justice was served and bringing closure to the unsettling chapter of Clara's life. For Clara, the aftermath of the revelation was a mix of relief and reflection. She spent time processing the emotions that had built up over the months of torment. Her once guarded heart began to heal, the scars a testament to her resilience. The fear that had overshadowed her life was now replaced with a renewed sense of hope and determination. Mrs. Whitaker, ever the supportive friend, made sure that Clara was never alone during this period of healing. Their afternoon tea sessions became a safe haven for Clara to express her thoughts and emotions. One sunny afternoon, as they sat in Mrs. Whitaker's garden, the old woman looked at Clara with a mixture of pride and affection. "My dear, you've been through so much, but you've come out stronger. I'm so proud of you," Mrs. Whitaker said, her eyes shining with warmth. Clara smiled, the weight of the past lifting from her shoulders. "Thank you, Mrs. Whitaker. Your support means the world to me." The bond between Clara and her friends grew stronger in the aftermath of the revelation. Sarah, her colleague at the library, had been one of the first to apologize for doubting her. Their friendship, once strained, was now mended with a newfound sense of trust and understanding. "Clara, I'm so sorry for not believing you earlier. I can't imagine what you went through," Sarah said one morning as they organized books on the library shelves. Clara reached out, placing a reassuring hand on Sarah's arm. "It's all right, Sarah. I understand why you had doubts. What's important is that we're here for each other now." The community's support played a crucial role in Clara's healing process. Neighbors who had once been skeptical now rallied around her, offering their help and solidarity. The once isolated Clara now found herself surrounded by a network of caring individuals who shared her determination to move forward. As the days turned into weeks, Clara's sense of normalcy began to return. She resumed her routine at the library, finding solace in the familiar rhythm of her work. The once unsettling presence of the flowers and notes was now a distant memory, replaced by a sense of peace. Clara's relationship with Mr. Reynolds also evolved during this time. What had started as a professional partnership had blossomed into a deep friendship built on mutual respect and trust. Mr. Reynolds admired Clara's strength and resilience, and Clara valued his unwavering support and guidance. One evening, as they sat on Clara's porch, watching the sun set over the horizon, Mr. Reynolds turned to her with a thoughtful expression. "Clara, you've shown incredible courage throughout this ordeal. I'm honored to have been a part of your journey." Clara smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. I couldn't have done it without you." The resolution of the main conflict brought with it a sense of closure for Clara. The antagonist's downfall had removed the shadow that had loomed over her life, allowing her to focus on her personal growth and relationships. She found herself reflecting on the lessons she had learned, the strength she had discovered within herself, and the importance of trust and support from those around her. Clara's growth was evident in the way she carried herself. The once timid librarian had transformed into a confident and resilient woman who faced challenges with grace and determination. Her journey had been marked by moments of doubt and fear, but she had emerged stronger, her spirit unbroken. The relationships in Clara's life had also evolved. Her bond with Mrs. Whitaker had deepened, their friendship a source of comfort and joy. Sarah and other colleagues at the library had become more than just co-workers. They were now friends who shared a mutual respect and understanding. One of the most significant changes was in Clara's relationship with herself. She had learned to trust her instincts, to believe in her own strength, and to value her worth. The journey had taught her the importance of self-care and self-compassion, lessons that she carried with her into the future. The town of Willowbrook, too, had undergone a transformation. The events that had shaken the community had also brought them closer together. The support for Clara was a testament to the resilience and compassion of the townsfolk, and their unity in the face of adversity was a beacon of hope. As Clara stood on the steps of the town hall, looking out at the faces of those who had supported her, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but it had also revealed the strength of her character and the resilience of her spirit. In the days that followed, Clara took time to reflect on the journey she had undertaken. The once hidden secrets had been brought to light, and with them the promise of a brighter future. She knew that the road ahead would still have its challenges, but she felt ready to face them with the knowledge and courage she had gained. One evening, as Clara walked through her garden, she paused to admire the roses that had once been a source of mystery and fear. Now they represented her journey, the thorns a reminder of the challenges she had faced, and the blooms a symbol of her growth and resilience. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the garden, Clara felt a sense of peace settle over her. She had faced her fears, uncovered the truth, and emerged stronger. The journey had not been easy, but it had shaped her into the woman she was today. The resolution of the main conflict had brought closure to the unsettling chapter of Clara's life, but it had also opened the door to new possibilities. The experiences she had endured had forged a path of personal growth and strengthened relationships, and she was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Clara's journey was a testament to the power of resilience, trust, and the unwavering support of those who mattered most. As she looked towards the future, she felt a sense of hope and determination. The once hidden secrets had been brought to light, and with them, the promise of a brighter future. As Clara stood in her garden, the scent of roses filling the air, she reflected on the journey that had brought her to this moment. The once ominous notes and flowers were now a distant memory, replaced by a sense of peace and closure. The past months had tested her in ways she never imagined, but they had also revealed the depth of her bravery, honesty, and resilience. The themes of bravery, honesty, and resilience were woven into the fabric of Clara's story. Her courage in the face of fear, her determination to uncover the truth, and her unwavering integrity had guided her through the darkest of times. Clara had faced the unknown with a steadfast heart, showing that true bravery lies not in the absence of fear, but in the willingness to confront it head-on. Honesty had been a cornerstone of Clara's journey. From the moment she received the first note, she had chosen to confront the unsettling messages with transparency and truth. Her willingness to share her fears and seek help had strengthened her relationships and built a foundation of trust with those around her. Clara's honesty had illuminated the path to uncovering the antagonist's deception and ultimately brought justice to her doorstep. Resilience had carried Clara through the storm. Despite the challenges and doubts that had clouded her mind, she had remained steadfast in her pursuit of the truth. Each setback had only fueled her determination, and her unwavering spirit had been a beacon of hope. Clara's resilience had not only helped her overcome the antagonist's schemes, but had also paved the way for her personal growth and healing. As Clara looked back on her journey, she couldn't help but reflect on the moments that had defined her transformation. The friendships that had been tested and strengthened, the support of her community, and the inner strength she had discovered. All these elements had come together to shape her into the person she was today. Clara's story invites us to consider our own lives and the challenges we face. What would you have done in her situation? How would you have confronted the fear and uncertainty that threatened to overshadow your life? Clara's journey serves as a reminder that we all possess the strength to overcome adversity, even when it feels insurmountable. In times of darkness, it is our bravery, honesty, and resilience that light the way. Clara's story is a testament to the power of these qualities and the transformative impact they can have on our lives. Her journey encourages us to confront our fears, seek the truth, and remain resilient in the face of challenges. As you reflect on Clara's story, think about the moments in your own life where you have shown bravery, honesty, and resilience. How have these qualities helped you navigate difficult situations? What lessons have you learned, and how have they shaped the person you are today? Clara's journey may have come to a close, but the themes of her story continue to resonate. In a world where uncertainty and challenges are a part of life, her tale serves as a reminder of the strength and courage that lie within each of us. It is a call to embrace our fears, seek the truth, and stand strong in the face of adversity. As we conclude this story, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences and the qualities that have guided you through tough times. What lessons have you learned from Clara's journey? How can you apply these lessons to your own life and inspire others with your story of resilience and courage? If Clara's story has touched your heart and inspired you, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales. By sharing these stories, we hope to create a community of support and encouragement where we can all learn from each other's experiences and grow together. Your engagement and feedback are invaluable to us. We welcome your thoughts and reflections on Clara's journey. What moments stood out to you? How did the themes of bravery, honesty, and resilience resonate with your own experiences? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Clara's story is a reminder that no matter the challenges we face, we have the power to overcome them with courage, truth, and an unyielding spirit.